since y'all like went through the first part, and then that way the next period you'll be able to just practice on the math and do it. Cool. So see how we're multiplying polynomials? Do you guys see how that looks a little bit different than what we just did? So this is going to be a little bit different. And so I'm showing you 3 different ways to do the same problem. If you're like, Miss K, I like the first way. If you're good with the first way, then don't listen to the other 2. You do not need to know every way to do this. Some people, most people prefer one of these 2. Miss Thompson and I learned the middle way. Like, we were not told the first and last way. We were only taught the middle way. So you're deciding which method you want to use, and then you're using it. You don't need to know all 3, though. But at the end of me explaining it, you're going to circle which one you'll use. Cool. So for box method, you do have to draw a box, right? Those boxes aren't going to be provided for you. So, I mean, the only extra thing you're going to have to do is draw that box. Then all you do is I take the first factor right there, x minus 2, and I put it on the top like this, x minus 2. Then I take the second factor, x plus 3, and I put it on the side like that. It doesn't matter if I put x plus 3 at the top and x minus 2 at the side, as long as they stay together with their pair. Notice the sign stays with the constant, the number. Then all you do is multiply. So what is x times x? X squared, remember we talked about, we add the exponents, that's what we just did. What's negative 2 times x? Good, negative 2x. 3 times x, and then 3 times negative 2, negative 6. So we just multiplied because we're multiplying polynomials. So we're multiplying each box. Then we just rewrite them right here, x squared minus 2x plus 3x minus 6. Are there any ones that have the same last name? Good. Make sure negative 2 and 3. So what's negative 2 plus 3? Or what's 3 minus 2? 1x. It will usually be written like this, where there's no 1 right there, but you can put the 1 in your answer. It's not wrong, but just so you're looking out for that multiple choice answer. And that's your answer. So if you like that and you got that, then make sure at the end star that method. The next one I'm going to show you is distributive property. So it's basically what we just did, and it's the same thing as this, you just make it look a little bit different. So what you do is I just explain it like almost like a story. I say, okay, x minus 2 broke up, that couple. Here we go, x minus 2, poor couple, right? They broke up. So you might want to write each method down, so that way you can choose at the end. It's on the back of the half sheet. Then x plus 3 wants to make sure their friends are okay, right? They're friends with both of them. So x plus 3's got to go visit both of them. Make sure their friends are alive and kicking. Then all we do is exactly what you guys just did. You multiply each term. So what's x times x? X squared. X times 3. 3x. Negative 2 times x. Negative 2x. I put it right under this one because they're the same last name. And negative 2 times 3. Good. Then I just combine like terms. So there's no other x squared. There's no other constant. What's 3 minus 2? 1x. Same answer as the first one, just a different way of doing it. So you're picking, I'm not going to test you on this, but I am going to test you on like whatever method you choose, stick to it. Last one is called FOIL, and what FOIL is first, outer, inner, last. And this one I would say is the most complicated. This is the one we were forced to learn as when we were in high school. But some people like it the best. So you have to memorize first, outer, inner, last. That's what FOIL means. And so what you do is I'm going to rewrite this, x minus 2, x plus 3. And so first means I'm multiplying the first terms. What's x times x? Because they're the first terms. X times x is x squared. Notice it's the same thing you're doing doing right there, right here. It's just a different way of looking at it. Outer are the two outside terms. So if I'm looking at the two outside terms, I'm looking at this one and this one. What's x times 3?
3x.
Good. Inner are the inside terms, so what's negative 2 times x? Good. And then last are the last terms, so negative 2 times 3. Good, negative 6. Then you can see you get the exact same thing you get right here. So I rewrite them x squared plus 3x minus 2x minus 6. And which two can I combine? Good, 3 and negative 2. What is 3 minus 2? Good. Same answer 3 times. It's whichever method you want to use. Just make sure FOIL is one that is easy to mess up. So you want to remember like what first means, outer, inner, last, which is literally what you're doing for that. It's just a different way of looking at it.
It's the same for all of them. You come up with the same pieces, the same answers.
So how many people like the box method the best? If you're more of a visual learner like I am, I like the box method the best because I can visually see what I'm doing. If you distributive property is like if you whizzed through the first lesson we just went through and you got it and like there was no problems, distributive property would probably be the best. And this one is if like you want to memorize the first, outer, inner, last, and combine them at the end. So start which one you are going to use right now. Start on your paper, which one you're going to use. Do not like switch them up. I would stick to one and be done with it. So raise your hand if you started the first one, box method. Raise your hand if you started FOIL. Raise your hand if you started distributive property. Cool. So you're going to stick with that one. Do not change it. So we're going to go to the back of the worksheet you were just on. So the back of the worksheet is this practice right here. So all it is, I'll start with this one right here. And so I'll do distributive property. If you're doing the other two, you can do the other two. So all I do is I go, okay, this first couple, they broke up. There they are, 4x plus 1, right? If you're doing the box method or FOIL, use your method. I'll do the box method right beside it. Do not copy this down in here. But I know x plus 1 goes right there. Then x plus 4's got to visit their buddies, make sure they're okay. So they got to visit both of them. If you're doing box method, it just goes like that. Then you just multiply. So what's x times x? Good. X squared. You get the same thing right here. X times x is x squared. What's x times 4? 4x. Same thing right here. 4 times x is 4x. 1 times x. Good. X or 1x. So get 1x right here. You would also get 1x on the other one. Then you would multiply 4 times 1 and get 4. So same thing you've been doing each time. So you're doing literally the same thing no matter what method you're using. In the end, you should have gotten x squared plus 5x plus 4.
Come on, take it.
Smart. So let's recap. We have x plus 1 split up. X plus 4 is visiting both of them, making sure they're still alive and kicking. And then I multiply. So x times x, you guys told me was x squared. 4 times x is 4x. 1 times x is 1x. And then what is 4x plus 1x? 5x plus 4. That's your answer. Does that make sense? Yes, no, maybe? All right. The last one I want to make sure you guys know is x plus 5. If I say, Kamara, if I tell you to give me what's 5 squared, what is the answer? 5 squared. How'd you get it? You multiply 5 by itself, right? So x plus 5, when you see this, you're going to see it quite a lot. That just means x plus 5 times x plus 5. So you guys might want to rewrite that. So if you see x plus 5 squared, it just means multiply by itself and use the method of your choice. And this one you could have seen is find the area. So area means multiply. So you just do the same thing. I just wanted to show you that the questions may look a little bit different. So if the area of a square, or does a square have different length sides or all the same? A square. Are they all different lengths or are they all the same length? The same, right? So like if this side's square and this side is 4, that means all the sides are going to be 4, right? So this one's saying find the area of a square with x minus 2 as one of its sides. So what's the other side going to be? X minus 2. And they want you to find the answer. This one, they're giving you a rectangle with x minus 1 and 2x plus 4. You just set it up the same way. Does that make sense? Cool. Okay. So I want you guys just to do a couple of these just for practice. When you come back in, you're going to have time. We are going to give you a classwork grade just for finishing up this Delta math. And then they're going to give you a little like check for understanding quiz just to see how you are with quadratics so far. So at the very end of next period, we're going to give you like a quick check for understanding just to make sure you got everything. If you know, hey, Miss K, I didn't get transformations, I didn't understand it, or I didn't understand what else did we do? Characteristics, then I am going to pull a small group for 3rd period. So if you want to be in the small group and just go over a few things before the quiz, you can do that also. But make sure you kind of realize, hey, that's something I need to do. That doesn't mean don't do any work now. That means make sure you make a note, hey, I need to go do that, and make sure I got everything down. But I am going to be asking for your notes. So if you do go out there, I am going to be asking that you bring your notes with you. Or else you have to copy them down and make them out there.